Welcome back to the IE427 garage, everybody. Today we're going to do something a little bit different. Now, I know a lot of you guys out there and gals that are into classic cars, factory 5 cars in particular. From time to time, we're going to trailer your vehicle. And I know that a lot of you are going to have an enclosed trailer like we do outside. And the thing that always seems to be a thorn in my side is having to run a power cord into the trailer and keep the trailer secure. So out here at the shop, the trailer sits out in front and there's an outlet next to the trailer or close enough to the trailer that I can, you know, if one of the cars is in there, I can hook up a battery charger, or I can hook up the battery charger to the battery that takes care of the 12-volt lights inside the trailer. But it sure would be nice to not have to leave one of the doors open to run a cord in. So what we're going to do today is, I was looking for solutions to this problem, and I started hunting around for, these are called power inlets. I've been in the construction and electrical trade long enough that when we're hooking up generators to buildings and stuff that have dedicated outdoor connections that are temporary, you'll use a power inlet. Now, depending on the voltage and the amperage of the actual generator, the inlet will be different. So I didn't need anything really fancy for this. I didn't want to spend a fortune. This is not sponsored. I bought this on my own. I got this off of eBay, I think for $25, including the shipping. I'll put a link for it in the video. But what we're going to do is we're going to mount this to the trailer wall on the outside, and then it has a pass-through cord that is going to allow us to hook up a power cord outside the trailer and be able to plug in a battery charger or some lights or whatever you have to plug in, as long as it's under the 15 amp maximum of this power inlet, and allow you to run your devices. So let me come back, we'll unpack this, we'll look at the parts that are included, and then we'll figure out with the instructions how we're going to get this installed in the side of the IE427 race trailer. All right, I'm going to go ahead and get this thing opened up here. Oh wow, this is really packaged nice. So this is made by a company called NOCO. Now I've never heard of them before in the electrical trades, but when I was searching around on the internet, I wanted something that was going to be simple. I wanted something that was going to be easy to install and something that I thought I could expand on later. So we're only talking about a 15 amp inlet here. So this is what the product looks like in the box, and you can see how nice the packaging is. I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to grab a razor blade and we'll cut this open. If I can find a razor blade. There we go. All right, so we're going to, and like I said, the packaging on this is really nice. I hope the product is actually that nice. We'll see. And another box. Well, they certainly didn't want you to get this thing damaged. So this is the third box. All right, so inside the third box, we've got some, they look like self-tapping screws. They're about 1.25 inches, I'd say. And they're black to match the cover. The cover has a rubber little flap that kind of sticks in here with some almost like corrugated rings on it, so it'll hold nice and secure. The actual body of the thing is a hard plastic, so I think that'll hold up a long time when all is said and done. And then that flap actually is the gasket as well on the back, so that's going to seal nice and tight against the side of the trailer. And then you can see it just basically turns into the female end of a 15 amp cord. So what I'm going to do for the time being on the trailer is I'm going to drill the appropriate size hole here. I believe they tell you to cut a 2-inch hole, so with a 2-inch hole saw, and then slide this thing through. I'm probably going to make that a through hole, and then I'm going to have this sticking out through the inside of the trailer, because on our trailer we actually have a white melamine surface on the inside, and so this will come out through the inside. Now, because of the angle on this bottom of the plug, I might have to offset the hole, so we'll kind of play that by ear. I won't drill all the way through right away, but I think that'll work for the time being. And then later on, what I can do is I can actually tie another cord into this and then run the wire to the front of the trailer or to the other side of the trailer, or wherever we might need power, and put a plug here or there. And then, of course, knowing that you've only got 15 amps worth of power. Now, the cord you use to plug this into, you know, if you're out at an RV site or something like that, you're going to plug into their 15 amp plug anyway. So it's going to be limited by the breaker in the pedestal at the RV park. But we'll make sure that we don't use more than, you know, this is all approved for whenever we start putting it into use. But I think this is a really cool product. I gravitated more towards this one than some of the other ones that I saw that were like multiple pieces. Like it was the inlet, and then you had to wire that to the outlet on the inside. You had to provide your own cord. And so I thought this would be good short term for us to use on our trip, and then something I could expand on later if we found that we needed a little bit more inside the trailer. All right, everybody, it's been a couple of days. As much as I wanted to go out to the trailer and start working on this project, stuff came up and I just didn't have a chance to get out there. Now, I do have a 2-inch hole saw ready to go, brand new. I'm going to use a brand new hole saw to cut the hole in the side of the trailer, because I don't want any oops or mistakes trying to maneuver an old dull hole saw through that aluminum wall. But so that's that. But one of the reasons that we waited was that I started thinking about charging the battery for basically the house battery for the trailer. And that's the battery that controls the breakaway switch for the brakes, and it controls all the lighting inside the trailer, and it also powers our new tongue jack. We recently installed a tongue jack, and I'll show you that when we make our way out to the trailer to start getting this stuff installed. I want a way to charge that battery without having a cord hanging out the side of my tongue toolbox. So I've got an aluminum toolbox on the tongue of the trailer that houses the battery and some other stuff, and until now I've just had a pigtail hang out of that for the battery tender to charge that battery. What I'd like to do is be able to plug this in to the outlet that is near the trailer where we park it, and then on the inside of the trailer go from that receptacle over to our battery tender and plug this into the wall and charge our battery kind of remotely. Because we always keep the battery hooked up, because it's always nice if you wander in there at night to be able to turn the lights and find your way. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to wire this in to the trailer wiring, and it'll actually backfeed the battery to charge it. So I've been waiting on this. It came in today. Hopefully tomorrow I'll wander out to the trailer and we'll start working on getting this installed. We'll start with this and then we'll finish with this. I'll give you guys a look at the tongue jack that we bought, and that should be it. So we're out here at the trailer, and I'm I'm looking to see where I can put that inlet. I want it over here because, as I said before, most of the RV parks, your hookups are all going to be on the left-hand side. If you look at most of the RVs, all of the RVs are on the driver's side of the vehicle. So we want to be on this wall, and I want to be near the back. But I don't want to hit anything, any structure, when I drill through the outside. So I came inside because the outside of the trailer skin doesn't have any fasteners. And so the only way you can find out where the vertical supports are to come in the inside.
Tell them why you don't have any fasteners on the outside.
Because my wife wouldn't let me.
That's right.
So on the inside, we've got some button head screws that are painted white, and we're going to go directly in the center of 2 of those because we know there's no structure in between those. So I measured to approximately 24 inches, which is right here. We're going to transfer that mark onto the outside, and I'll probably end up going about 24 inches from the deck up. And that'll give me a nice spot if I ever want to put an electrical box here on the inside in place of the cord end. I'll be able to put it down low enough so it doesn't get in your way as you're trying to, get past the car. So we'll go on the outside. We're going to make a mark. So we're going to measure from the bottom up about 24, and I'm just going to hold it place with my finger. Then we're going to measure from the back. And we're going to come over 24, and then back up and make our mark. So that's going to be the center mark for our pilot hole. So I'm going to grab the drill I have here with a small bit in. It's a 5/64 bit. And we're going to drill a hole. And we're in. So that'll give us a good spot for the pilot bit on our hole saw. And I'm using a brand new hole saw. I want to make sure I get a nice clean cut the first time. Actually, what I think I'm going to do is pull off the actual hole saw and drill it with the bit first, just so that we don't have any tear out when we do the hole saw. So there we are, and we're right at the plywood on the inside. So there's not a whole lot of space in between the inside and outside skins here. So I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to grab another drill bit or another hole saw so that on the inside I can offset the holes down, because if you look here at the inlet, the cord comes down at an angle near the bottom. And so I don't want to like hike this thing up like this to get it to go through the hole. So I'm going to go grab another hole saw and I'll be right back. Alright, so on the inside, I've got a hole coming through the other side at the bottom of that hole. I'm going to take a smaller hole saw, come right up here to the edge. We've got a through hole now. We should be able to thread that plug straight through. Let's see if it'll fit. It fits. All right. So back to the outside. Not exactly the way I wanted it to go. Oh, best laid plans. Back to the 2-inch hole saw. And it looks like in our case the thickness of the wall just isn't enough to give us enough space to get that outside receptacle flush. So what we're going to do is we're going to continue our 2-inch hole with our hole saw all the way through. All right, let's try this again. All right, it sits flush now. So now what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and we're going to drill some pilot holes for the screws. And we're going to screw this thing in from the outside. And then that, for now, is going to complete this. And then we'll move on to our 12 volt. All right, so there's that. We've got the 3 screws put in. It's nice and secure. You can see it gives us a nice place to plug our cord in. And then on the inside, we've got a nice cord that we can take and plug our battery tender in. So when we've got a vehicle stored out here, we don't have to worry about the battery going down. And then eventually what I'll probably do is I'll put a junction box over this, wire this into the junction box with probably a 15 volt outlet, and then that'll give us the opportunity, if we want to add plugs in other places in the trailer, we can just go up and through the chase at the top to feed some other plugs. So this part is pretty much done. So let me go ahead, I'll grab the 12 volt and we'll start working on that. Well, I was a little unhappy with the way the self-drilling screws went in, so I wanted something a little more secure. So I went ahead and I grabbed some black 3/16 pop rivets and I put those in place of the screws at all 3 spots. I've got our cord plugged in to the house now, and then on the inside I've got the charger charging up the battery and slithering. You can see over there how it nice and neatly plugs in. So we're going to work on getting that 12 volt put in on the front of the trailer to the main battery so that we can charge that with the same type of trickle charger or battery tender. Alright, in here in the trailer I've got the switch for the lights pulled apart because I know that's constant power, and I've already fished a black and a red. This is number 12 gauge all the way up to here. This is the circuit that controls the lights. So I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to tie it onto here, and then I'm going to take and I'm going to ground the ground to the metal chassis here. So I'll sand away some of the paint. I'll put probably a self-drilling screw in, and that'll be our ground for our charging port. So this charging port, which is right here, is going to mount on the wall probably somewhere right about here. That's just so it makes it really easy when I want to plug it in to reach into the trailer, plug it in, and be done. All right, I got the 12 volt for the trailer all installed, so that's all done down there, and got the light switch put back together. I got the wire chase all put back together, and then outside what I'm going to do is I'm going to end up, the last thing I'm going to cover this one with some split loom. I've already disconnected my 12 volt cord for the battery charger up in here for the tongue box. And now that I've got the one inside, I can charge the battery from there. And the last thing I want to do is I want to take some of this and I'm telling you guys again, the cheapest place to get this split loom is at Harbor Freight. 10 feet 3/8 I think is like $8, $9, and they also sell in 1/4 inch and 1/2 inch. So 3 sizes, really good deal on it. You buy it from a lot of other places, it's quite a bit more expensive. So I'm gonna get that all kind of loomed up, and then that'll be the last thing, and then the trailer's ready to go. Here we are. I even grabbed a cushion clip, got this strapped in place just to try to keep everything out of the way. You got the safety chains, the wiring that goes from the trailer to the truck, and so I'm going to try to keep all of this nice and neat, but there's a lot of stuff going on here. Oh, one thing I didn't show you guys is that wire that we were working on and putting the split loom on. I added this electric tongue jack not too long ago, probably just before I started this project on the trailer, because I wanted to get the trailer ready for our trip to Texas. And I was so tired of hand cranking the tongue jack and hitting my knuckles right here. So this thing just makes it so much easier. I mean, if you want to go up, you just hit the button and it goes up. If you want to go down, it goes down. It's awesome. And then I tied that in to our fuse box that's inside the tongue box. I've got a 12-volt battery in there. I think it's a group 24, if I remember right. And so we've got a small fuse box in there with the ATC fuses. I hooked that tongue jack up to a 15 or a 20 amp fuse. I can't remember offhand. I think it's a 20, because I think I tried a 15 and it just wasn't strong enough when it was lifting the thing up. It's fine for going down, but not enough for going up. But it works out perfectly because it's so much easier to get the trailer connected when you're not having to hand crank it, you know, up, down, and everything else. So that's in and it's done. The like I said, the trailer's pretty much ready to go on our trip. The next thing I've got to do to get ready is get our dually all squared away. The last thing I will probably end up doing as far as an improvement on the trailer is changing out the incandescent ceiling lights with some LEDs. Now I'm hoping I can just change out the lamps in them, the bulbs, and change those to LED and get something a little bit brighter. I mean, when it's dark, those lights do help, but they could be better. So I'm hoping that changing those out to some, you know, high intensity LEDs will help get some more light in here. And then that's kind of it. It's time to close the doors and put Slytherin away, and we'll be pulling Slytherin out here pretty soon, because we've got to load up the Texas car and get that one on its way to Texas. The last project I have to get done before we head out to Texas is to get the oil changed, all the fluids checked, the tires checked for the F-350 workbench. It could use a little attention on the paint too. Maybe I'll hose it off. But this is what we're going to be trailering the Texas car with, and so I want to make sure that everything is ready to go on that. I don't want any problems on our trip. So if you guys are enjoying the content here, please do the like, the share, the subscribe, all that kind of stuff. We'll see you next time. Have a great day.